He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis Stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Reynardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
So we know Lapino is a traitor. Very important. However, at the same time, he could be useful. That is how we get to Zenobia. We just unlocked this one. So let's go there.
The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis Stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Reynardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis Stone? Long hidden in a buried temple? Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now? Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals?
Always see what happens. So he's spit around a bunch.
Have you ever felt you were just going round in circles? Bernardo felt like that.
He gets dizzy. Awesome.
Reynardo was bored with his old sword. Oh, hey, a crafting bench.
Okay, so we can't make that yet. Can't make that, but we can make this. So that allows us to heal ourselves now. That probably would have been useful. Doesn't seem to recharge like the fire sword does.
Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
Indeed, Reynardo.
The air here tasted bitter. The steps were too tall for a person. The entire place felt restless, like it had been vexed to nightmare under the dust, waiting for its hour to come around at last.
already here. Cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late.
Nice. So we can at least regen some health. So we have 2 points. Increase maximum dodge, and then dodge again. Or we can pull shields away.
Come in handy in a pinch.
Okay, dash, pull shields off. That's good. I do like sword energy though. Let's go with that. Movement speed was a big thing.
Oh, you got such delicious looking eyeballs.
Caught the lead, Raven.
Thank you, I think, said Ronaldo. It never hurt to be polite.
Okay, so now I'm not dependent on grabbing them to take care of those other fights. Super useful.
Once, Bernardo had opened a chest, and a jack-in-the-box jumped out. Jack-in-the-boxes, they gave him the Wiggins.
Not a fan of Jack in the Boxes though. Ronaldo. Hero sword over there. Okay, we just don't have the range for that.
Whee!
Oh, I see. It's just projectiles. Damn. Alright, sounds good. Yeah, I am really happy to see, like, decent games from Prey developers.
How could a temple to Iblis still even exist? The Transcendent Emperor had destroyed all the shrines of the lost gods after exiling them. Had it been buried in that long-ago battle? Or had Iblis foreseen his fate and hidden it from his enemy? In a swirl of newly remembered knowledge, he needed to focus.
Has to be on a very
The
specific.
Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders.
Alright, very nice. Okay, 1 point. Yeah, you can get tons of dodges in this game, jeez. Well, look at that whole grab puzzle down there. Can you fall off? No.
These platforms were great. Renato wanted one for his house.
That was new. Most people still use doorknobs.
So we do have a problem in that we missed a lever back there. So I guess we just have to soak damage. Ah.
It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. I can make you mighty. Who said that? Give me blood. It was the stone, eager, thirsty. Kill the Emperor's daughter. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Skyripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. Not the core, said the stone anxiously.
Nah, screw you.
The stone bothered him. He hated being told what to do. Wasn't that why he joined the rebellion? Wasn't that why he'd refused to be a soldier? He'd agreed to come on board only if he could freelance. The stone felt a bit clingy. The sage Calaveras had told him where to find the Skyripper, a weapon capable of challenging the gods. Even without its armature, the core would still possess great power. He would go there. The moment he landed the Farfarer, Renato had a rare feeling of regret. It's not too late, he thought. He could turn around and sail for Zenobia's island. He frowned. Wait a minute. He didn't want to kill Zenobia, did he? Sure, technically she was the enemy, but they'd been at Sword Fu school together. They'd never been lovers, but somehow they'd been closer. She'd told him every secret about herself. Except the biggest one. That she was the Emperor's daughter. No. Kill Zenobia, whispered the stone. Before it's too late.
Alright, let's go grab this Skyripper core. Let's see what we can get.
What was really fun was hooking yourself onto a moving ship.
What's this? Break our ankles on the way down? Alright, so what did I just jump into?
Renato wondered what he could make with all this ore.
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
We're not being poisoned as far as I can tell, so let's just keep going, shall we? See where it leads us.
Where did that go to?
Excellent.
The stone hadn't lied about what it could do for him. With each raven he cut down, he felt a jolt of power flowing into his arm. "You're weak," whispered the stone. "The core will kill you." "Are you afraid of it?" "No, don't be ridiculous," it chuckled. But it's unstable. It will poison you if so much as carry it, and if you try to use it, it will explode catastrophically. Reynardo did not trust rocks that talked in his head. He went onwards.
That's right, screw that rock. Let's go.
Can I borrow that?
Yeah, so far it's a good game. I like it. Alright. Magic D20. What do you got?
As he approached the core, the stone became hysterical. "No! It's too much power. We'll rip a hole in space and time." He had a sudden vision of plunging his gauntlet into the core and dying in anguish. That wasn't his vision, was it? The stone had sent him its darkest fears, hadn't it? He had a sudden impulse to do exactly that. He raised his right fist and plunged it into the core. There was a rush of light. He thought he could hear the stone screaming. And then he passed out. When Reynardo came to, the core was gone. But the Iblis stone was no longer black, but glowing with a blue light. And it was silent. "I can't hear you," he sang out, and "You?" It didn't answer. "Ha!" he said. He had defeated the demonic gem with the power of his mind. He felt invincible. It was time to attack the Imperial outpost on the Nexus. Take the battle to the enemy. But among the huge crystals, there was also an observatory. A wise man would probably ask the scientists exactly what he had first. How wise was he?
So he was able to silence the Iblis core. Power gave him was intact. And we don't know anything about...
As the Farfarer made its way toward the Nexus, Reynardo could see tiny sparks in the blackness that was the Iblis stone, as if somewhere within it, the core was still spitting out energy, which the Iblis stone sucked in hungrily.
You'd think the stone would want this kind of power, wouldn't it? Thought Reynardo. Well, the scientists would explain it all.
Yeah, we don't know anything about it, so if it's going to do anything for us, we want to find out what it can do. Maybe they'll know.
See? He'd trusted his gut, and it had worked out. That's what it meant to be a hero. To ignore the naysayers and the oddmakers, and do what you knew was right, and have it turn out to be the right thing. Well, he wasn't worried. Once he got to the observatory, the scientist toads could explain it. Then he could carry the war into the enemy's camp and destroy them all. Oh dear, he was getting a little bloodthirsty, wasn't he?
Let's kill them.
Renato wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles.
Really long tentacles. Could be Renato.
This chest was filled with old concert t-shirts. And something useful.
Destroy 100 inanimate objects. Nice.
Renato wondered if he could learn to cook this way. Probably not.
Renato had never felt better in his life. Normally, a battle would wear him down and he would need a night's sleep. Now he felt like he could go all night and all day. He felt like people were cheering him on, and he could practically hear their applause as he slew one raven after another.
Oh, he's going to explode, isn't he? He's just building up, like, positive energy. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. He's going to get there and then boom.
There had to be something useful in these things, didn't there?
Alright, so what's out here?
The Iblis Stone and the Skyripper Core. Two artifacts from the time of legends. Renato was becoming a legendary hero, wasn't he? He had enough power to save the rebellion, but he had to understand this power, so he would not misuse it.
Is this power like Kalimdor from the Wheel of Time series? Not going to tell you anything about Kalimdor, though. Just in case. We can upgrade this, or we can craft that.
This sword from the frigid north was really useful for making popsicles and birdcicles.
Bird sickles. Oh,
Energy spheres.
ow.
Easy to dodge, but boy do they sting if you didn't pay attention.
Is it the crappiest ride at Disney? Okay, so... Need to remember, he takes the sweet time to turn around.
Boy, some people were just liable to explode if you upset them.
I Search up explosive ravens. When hit or thrown, they will explode after a few seconds. Use them to your advantage. Cool. We did it. What I was hoping to do is throw that guy into Warlock. Exactly half the way I wanted. You know, like that.
No one could beat Renato at hot potato.
That hot potato.
The toads at the observatory measured the stone with their occult devices. I fed it the core of Sky Ripper, explained Renato. No more feed planet souls. But the core is not an unlimited energy source, said one toad. Another said, there's a feedback loop, you see, which could overload the stone. Yet the stone doesn't actually feed on souls, claimed a third, but on pain of killing another sentient being. If you can truly be at peace with yourself, it would not overload.
This was all very confusing. At peace? Yes, the mountains were peaceful and quiet, but he now had the power to turn the tides. He should report to the Rebellion Council and prepare for the decisive battle.
Too much killing would overload it. He had to find inner peace to maintain balance. But overloading the core did not sound reassuring. Maybe Renato should try to find peace real quick. We could go back another way. I have a feeling this one is we just go and kill a bunch of people and they explode.
The one thing he understood from all the toad arguments, maybe the stone did not feed on blood or souls or rage. It fed on empathy. It fed on the pain he felt when he put an end to another being's existence. Even if that other being was a raven intent on killing him. If he could find peace, then he could use the power of the Iblis stone without being taken over by its evil. The mountains. He would go to the mountains. He could find peace there.
Or get jumped by ravens and explode.
Unfortunately, the mountains were not empty. There were ravens everywhere. No matter. He had to fight, yes, but he didn't have to be angry. Parry, dodge, slash, and breathe. Yes, focus on the rhythm, the dance of it, not on the blood or the raven's core as they died. Ah, it was working. He wasn't feeling those dark jolts of eldritch energy. He wasn't feeding the Iblis stone.
Indeed.
Hoped his hook didn't break.